Hi. Welcome to my chat with my fellow practice management expert and a member of Newborn Evolution team, Chris Salem. I'm Joanne Newborn. I'm CEO of Newborn Evolution, where we transform your dental practice's vision into real results through leadership coaching, training, and business consulting so that you can do what you do best, which is dentistry. So today we're going to talk about some of the biggest challenges that dental professionals have when it comes to running a dental practice. You're definitely going to want to pay attention to this. But I just want to introduce Chris. Chris Salem has a really special passion for empowering and servicing business leaders, entrepreneurs, dentists in various industries, such as an executive coach. But he's also a world-class speaker, keynote speaker, amazing, is always traveling around the world. He's got a high impact that really shifts people towards positive action. And he really focuses on the root cause that leads to change and results. And I am very passionate about root cause because I feel like we never spend enough time on that. We just want to get to the solution. So the root cause is so important. And he's always coming from the heart. And audiences are really able to draw their own conclusions as to what's required of them to come out of their comfort zone and strive towards their level of success. Chris is also a certified workplace strategist. So, welcome, Chris. First question I want to ask is,
thank you, Joanne, for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. When it comes to dental startups, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've observed?
Well, one of the things that I've observed with dental startups is just, really understanding the dynamics of what it takes to grow a business. A dentist didn't have business training. So a lot of times they're kind of just shooting from the hip and kind of learning as you go. But so one of the things I would say is really when you can understand and learn to plug into resources that can help them sooner rather than later, what are the best strategies that would allow them to grow and increase revenue and profit in their business? When they can do that up front rather than on the back end be reactive, they're going to be in better positions now. What can work best now to this case, when people come in for or when they come in for cleanings, what are some best practices that can help them now to accept treatment? Because a lot of times there's a big issue with that. And then how that can play a big part in also increasing in collections that turn into increasing revenue. And what are some other revenue and profit strategies that can help dramatically increase them if they understand what they are up front and how, with the right market dominating position, or what I call compelling value proposition to the community they serve, how that, when compounded sequentially, can dramatically shift where they are and where they go. And that can happen in a faster period of time than later if they understand this. They don't have to be an expert. They just have to understand and plug into those resources that can help them to make that happen.
Yeah, I love what you said too. You said this key word, reactive, proactive versus reactive. And that's so important. And I find that dentists that want to start their own practice, a lot of times are just completely overwhelmed and they are in a reactive state of like, oh my goodness, I have to do this next and this next. And I didn't know I had to do this. And maybe I didn't get a loan that was big enough because I didn't see these other things coming down the pipeline. So I think being able to work with an expert that really understands where you're going, this guide that can take you there, put you in a position to be more proactive and get to those revenue generating opportunities much more quickly. So once a practice is up and running, what do dental practitioner owners struggle with most, in your opinion?
Wow. Well, I mean, I know that just like with any business, there's going to be quite a few things, but when it comes down to number one, Joanne, when it applies to almost every issue or problem in any type of business, it's communication. It's this assumption that we all understand our role and duties, and we speculate, and this is what often leads to this miscommunication, expectations falling through the cracks. This could lead to now, where it can impact the patient experience in a negative way. and can all, but starting at the employee level where employees are not working well together. So communication is always, there's always breakdowns in communication, and there could be lack of resources and systems to make that better, and also establishing who is the leader in that dental office. Doesn't necessarily always have to be the doctor in this case, but someone that can truly, bring people together, not by force, but in a way that really unites people. And I always find that without addressing that, then trying to solve these other problems on top of that is just a hopeless battle, because we're just putting a band-aid on things. But if we can really get more structure behind the leadership and the communication, we have a foundation that can be built upon to make other processes in the dental practice more efficient and productive for each role and duties, and then overall as a practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I always say that dentists don't realize that they're actually the CEO of a business once they open a practice. And like you said, it doesn't mean that they have to be responsible. Being a great CEO is knowing how to delegate. And I've actually worked with dental practices and trained their office managers to take on the bulk of all of the administrative work so that they don't have to be bothered with it. But you have to have that CEO mindset and act as the CEO. Doesn't mean you have to do all the work. So yeah, all 100% great points. So this is my final question. When it comes to increasing revenue in a practice, what are some of your biggest recommendations?
Well, here's the thing about increasing revenue. And it's going to always come down to the patient experience. But before that, you also got to make sure that the employee, the staff, are having a great experience. Again, coming down to the communication, the leadership, whatever is going to reflect outwards, got to start from the inside out. So that, to me, that is paramount. Now, another thing, just if we're going to tie it to revenue specifically, is oftentimes, and this is the case with most businesses, not just a dental practice, we just assume that our audience that we serve, in this case, understands the value that we bring to them. The reality is, again, we just assume. We don't specifically understand what are the true challenges that our audience faces. So in this case, yes, people want to get their teeth cleaned. People want to be treated if there's a problem with their teeth. But it's sometimes more than that. So if we got to really understand the challenge that could be better to the people that we're serving in our practice, and what are the results that they're seeking that they don't have. If we just assume that, and then we try to sell features and benefits of why Invisalign's good for them, or why they should be getting a root canal, or doing whatever, then we're putting the cart before the horse. So it's very important. We got to get that market dominating position or a compelling value proposition down, so we can align that with the challenge that could be better, the results they seek they don't have. How do we educate them? By sharing, empowering them through questions, disguising the impact that we're looking to get across to get them to accept treatment, not for the sake of accepting treatment for treatment, but where it's absolutely necessary, that people now are more likely to be proactive to say yes, rather than wait later when the pain is too great at that point. So by doing that and making sure through huddles that the staff is on the same page and understanding that value proposition, there's no room for assumption and speculation, and it's very clear. This way, from the communication from the front desk to the hygienist to the doctor back to the front desk is seamless, allowing for a better experience and for the patient to feel confident and comfortable they're in good hands, even if they don't think they have the budget to do it, that they'll find out otherwise that there are ways to make that work for them, that they can make this happen and to fulfill the very things that are important to them and generate the results they seek.
I love that. That's great. I'm going to piggyback on that a little bit, and similar, but a little bit of a different perspective is, for me, it's really about the business planning for the year. So again, going back to that vision, but what's your vision for the year? If I say I want to increase revenue, it's really vague, right? How much revenue? And then really putting that strategic plan together on how you want to get there. That is through the team that you have, through specific goals that you might have in place, maybe letting go of things that are not helping you bring in the revenue. Sometimes you have to let go of things to bring in greater revenue. And that feels very scary, right? Because we're like, well, I already have this, but if it's a lot of work and you have to look at the number of hours that you're working and, what's your cost? I label my time with a cost per my hour, right? And if I can hire an expert to do something for me that is going to be more cost effective for me to be able to work and make more money during that time, I'd rather pay somebody else. So you have to think about that. Who do you need in your business? Maybe not doing it all. So many things to think about in terms of the strategy that you're going to put together for the year. But you can't just come in flying by the seat of your pants, kind of like what we were talking about when you open a practice. You have to really have that strategy
Oh,
in
absolutely.
place.
Like you said, it's a foundation. A plan is a foundation, and it's not just a plan, like you said, Joanne, for just when you start the practice. It's a plan that's living, that each year you're going to learn for what worked, what didn't work, what can be changed or adapted to based upon, what, like, for instance, what happened with COVID. How could you have adapted in that situation? So these are the things that the practices, that when they're up to speed on their strategy and planning, and the things that you do at Newborn, these are the things that are going to put those doctors in their practices ahead of the curve proactively,
Yeah.
rather than now constantly reacting, trying to catch up and go in and do it in a stressful and an anxious way, which is quite common in this business, and of course other businesses as well, not just dentistry.
A lot of organizations are functioning in reactive ways. And I always think of it as this big boulder that you're constantly like trying to push uphill, and you got to get on the other side of the boulder where you're not, where you're ahead of it. So thanks, Chris. That's our nugget. And we're both going to be at the Greater New York Dental Meeting on Sunday, November 26th, and Monday, the 27th. So we'd love to meet with you if you're thinking of starting your practice, or if you're looking to amp up your revenue, or if you need to create a high performance team, or just help with any challenges that you have. We're happy to share our knowledge with you at the dental meeting. So the other thing is, we didn't talk about it. We don't have time, but there are benchmarks to hit in terms of running a dental practice. So we can talk to you about that as well. And we're launching our new program. It's called Dental Master Plan, the ultimate framework to opening and growing your dream practice. So we're going to have a link below if you want to find out more. And I want to thank you so much, Chris. And we'll see everybody next week. It'll be awesome.
Take care.